Hello, Shanelle.
How you
G'day. That's a
How
tough
are
act
you?
to follow. Ross Noble and Splashdown and Dazzle Land. I may as well have just gone to bed, to be honest.
Yeah, he's he,
Uh,
he is a man that you kind of start winding up, and then it'll go for another 10 minutes. So thank you for being
I was
patient.
loving
But
it.
we
No,
yeah
that is fine. It was a trip
oh
down memory lane, let's be honest. And I was just thinking
yeah
about all these theme parks closing down. It's like that bloody movie that's all over Netflix. You know, the scary one with Freddy Fazbear,
oh
Five
yes,
Nights at
yeah.
Freddy's.
yes
Yeah,
yeah
you're totally right. Yeah, I can
So
imagine
not
some of
only are
the
we
creepy ones
home
from
to
Tasmania.
loads of serial killers, also these, Chernobyl style theme parks that are just gone. And now there's freaky bears walking everywhere. So
that's
we're a bit
Adelaide.
stuffed,
That's
aren't we?
Adelaide. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine the bunyip from Murray Bridge just coming
Oh
out at Cosmic
yeah.
Park, just like,
Yes.
like that would
Do you
be,
know, I
yeah.
went to see that because my son loves the bunyip. He's nearly 8. Anyway, he's fascinated with it. So, of course, I'm thinking, I'll drive you down there, actually a lot further than I thought. So, regretted it halfway to the trip. And he made me stand there and push the button, put whatever it is. And you've got to wait for cycles. So, between
Yeah.
Bertha, that's the bunyip's name,
Yes.
coming
Yeah.
up and doing a big scary thing, coming down, you have to wait 5-10 minutes. So, we're waiting. Then some other kid had come push, and I'm like, he wanted to push the button. Now we've got to wait 10 minutes. It's quite a thing.
Yeah. But that's the anticipation, isn't it? If it popped up every
Yes.
minute, you'd go, ah.
Yeah, you'd get, and the
that's the
residents would
joy.
get so shitty, they'd pull the plug on the thing. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
that's
right.
like Grandpa. But
boom, see ya.
Yeah. So tell us about your book. So it's
Oh,
because adulthood shouldn't be this boring. Is that right?
yes, it is, Scotty. Look, we struggle a bit as we get older, don't we? We lose our sense of fun and
Yeah.
humor when, okay, it's fine if you're going to a comedy show. And comedy is one of those rare art forms, or probably the only art form, which you're only allowed one response. So you don't go to a comedy gig and sit there and say, geez, that joke moved me. Like, I can't believe how, like, just that was an incredible experience. You either laugh or you don't.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And if you
Yeah.
don't laugh, you feel like something's missing. You feel like you've been cheated somewhere in the matrix of comedy. You go to laugh and have that release. And I think as adults, as we kind of go along on our daily journeys, we don't actually learn to seek out joy and humor and fun things as often as we should. We reserve laughter as almost like a luxury now. And
Mm.
the beautiful gift of comedy is that we need it to get through hard stuff. If we only use comedy for the good stuff, we miss out on one of its greatest gifts. And
Oh, you're
that's to
totally
help
right.
us cope, connect, and carry on. And it's never to mock pain. I think comedians get a bit of a hard go with people saying, oh, they make jokes about really sensitive subjects, a bit like Ross was saying before with Michael Jackson, and his fans were really angry and wanted to beat him up with a glove. But it was all those kind of things where you go, it's not to mock the pain, but to help us carry it. And if you can't laugh, that's okay. Step back. If it's too raw and you're finding it's triggering for you, but ask yourself where you sit in that, because if the joke is to help you carry the pain, there's a lightness in that.
Yeah.
So
Well, everybody always says too soon, right? Like there's a expiry date on that period where you just need to be thoughtful and you can't make any
and
jokes.
that's okay. Because if it's it depends on, of course, the taste of the joke. I mean, I just watched the roast of what's his name? Not Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Yes. Yeah,
That's the
Kevin
one.
Hart. Yes.
They were ruthless. They were talking about her husband who had jumped off a shed and took his own life, and they were just roasting her about that.
Wow.
And she's laughing like this, and I'm going, it's not too far. I mean, that's just me, but it's where does it sit? And I think it's up to the interpretation of the person watching, and also the person who, if you're allowed to step back from that, but also ask yourself where it sits. Is it to mock the pain? Because there's a big difference, I think. So
yeah, definitely.
I wrote the book to essentially say that if we don't step out of these stress spirals that we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
on the inside in the nervous system. And things like laughter, particularly joy, playful fun, that is the way you tap out of that stress response. Stress is like a switch. 1 minute you're stressed, activated, and then laughter can literally change your mood in an instant. And you feel it. When you laugh about something, you are light, you are airy, you are smiling. It's hurting, but it's a good hurt, like your cheeks, things like that. And if we don't tap out of that stress response, we have this low grade stress going through us all the time, with things like, oh, I've got to get to work on time. And then all the stresses that come with work. People often walk up to the office doors and then dump their baggage, let's say, at the door, have the day, stressful day, and then come out, pick their baggage up and go home. Could be marital stress, could be a feral teenager, could be a foul little toddler who's not sleeping, all those things. Finances, petrol prices, we wear it heavy.
Yeah.
But if we don't, as adults, we tend to wait for joy to arrive. We understand our negative triggers, but we don't use joy in the same way. We have to kind of seek it out, like booking a ticket like Jamie did and going to Ross's show,
Yeah.
sitting in the front row, having a good old time. If we don't get these things happening in our life and activate them, they're just going to go by. And we
Yeah.
end up not tapping out of that stress. And that unfortunately pushes the buttons for genetic disease. Heart disease,
Right.
number one killer. You know, mental health is one of the biggest problems of the 21st century. All these kind of doom and gloom things. But there is an antidote. And one of it is laughter and
Yeah.
fun and joy and just having that lightness. And that quite literally taps you out of that stress response. Because
Yeah.
if you look at the field of, I mean, it's a bit sciencey talk here, but I'll won't lay it on thick. But if you look at the field of epigenetics, it says that your emotions play a really big part in the downgrading or upgrading of your genes. So if you're stressed all the time, your genes get the green light and they make weaker, less healthier proteins. And that pushes the buttons for diseases. But if you tap out of that stress response, your genes also get the green light to make healthier proteins. So we need to, stress isn't a
Yeah.
bad thing. We just need to tap out of it sometimes.
Yeah. I think
And
Yeah, you're totally
laughter
right.
having
is the
having
best
to
thing.
make time to laugh, though, not a lot of people do that. And life,
We
everybody's lives
forget.
seem to be busier and busier all of the time. So how do you make time? You know, how would you
Yeah.
suggest that people actually do that? Do you have to
I
carve
put it
out
in
a
the book.
window, or yeah,
I think when you learn to make yourself a priority, because we if we want to make time, we will. Like we can make, if we sit back and go, I just don't have time. I say to my kids all the time, if they turn around and say I can't do something, I say, well, you can't. If you tell yourself you can't do something, then you can't. But if you say to yourself, I actually want to make my happiness a priority, then you will find the time. So I went out for, we usually go out for dinner, a bunch of girlfriends and I, once every 3-4 months. And it was my turn to pick a restaurant. And I thought to myself, I'm going to do something a bit different. They might absolutely say no and throw their hands in the air and run away screaming, or they might embrace it. I booked us to go on a quad biking trip.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was about 8 women on quad bikes. I tell you what, you've never seen anything so spectacular in your life. The dirt flickered up. They were life did not matter at all. They were in the present moment, no bloody phones, no, Mom, I need something, none of that, malarkey. They were off. It was lit. So we walked in there and my one of the other girls said, we should get dressed up. So we put tattoos on and had flannelette shirts and thought we were just the nuts, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
we got in there and this guy said, oh, what are you doing? Have you got a hen's night? I said, no. And then he said, oh, you must have like is it some kind of birthday party? No. Well, why are you all dressed up? I said, just because. And he went,
It's
well,
for
that's
fun.
terrific. Good on you. Just fun. And we're a bit vulnerable in dress up because we're
yeah,
middle-aged going,
yeah,
we've been doing this. And we just honestly just went mad on these quad bikes and we were covered in dirt. It was so much fun. And I think it was then that really was proof in the pudding of how much that reset the system
yeah,
rather than just going out for dinner. and spending money on food and drink and being a little bit hungover, and then the next day we've just done that before. Nice night, have chats, but we needed an experience. So I always say swaps, not shames. Don't shame yourself for not having enough time. What can you swap out? Does scrolling at night for 45 minutes constitute as a good use of time? If scrolling counted as rest, we'd be wildly refreshed by now.
Yeah.
But we're
Yeah,
not.
totally.
We're like little raccoons with iPhones, aren't we?
In saying that, sometimes the scrolling is de-stressful for me because if you get into that point where you're not having a great day,
Yeah.
watching a guy get hit in the face with a discus just instantly cheers me up.
Your algorithm knows you, Big Al. That's why. There's pandas falling off shit.
Yeah, people getting hit in the
Ross
nuts.
Noble being whacked with gloves.
Yeah. Instantly cheers me up. It's good
terrific.
club. Yeah.
Or have you? Do you know I think my algorithm's got me worked out. I really like when the grandmas swear and get really abusive. There's a few Italian ones that just you have to swear on this.
I don't know.
No. We try to give it PG,
avoid.
but yes.
Okay. Well, they say F off in their beautiful accent and a few other colourful superlatives to describe a situation. I hope that's not going to be big.
Yes.
So, but it's just terrific. But things like that will. But the other thing, the algorithm has other ideas. So you think you're scrolling and looking at people being hit in the face with a discus, which is terrific. However, then the next thing, it might flash up something that makes you feel a bit shit about yourself. As a woman, it might flash up with you need to spend more money on your skin to have less wrinkles. Otherwise, you're a shabby version of yourself. With guys, it could be erectile dysfunction pills. I don't know. So
I've got both of those, but it really depressed me.
sorry about that. So 1 minute you're cracking up, the next minute you're sorry for yourself.
And I think it's working. I think I'm using the anti-wrinkle tablets instead. But look, it's
and you've also got a podcast, The Beautiful Nightmare, which won Best Comedy Podcast 2024 at the Podcast Awards.
Yeah, it did. That was good fun. Well, we were nominated the first year. And we went to Sydney and we thought, this is fantastic. When you feel like you're going to win and you kind of half convince yourself this is great. So we sat there and we're holding each other's hands and they didn't call our name out. We went, oh, okay, we've just spent about $2,000 to get to Sydney and flights, accommodation, transfers, all the rest of it. Thank you, but okay, fair enough. So we'll have a good night on the champagne, which we did. The next year we were also nominated and invited to go. But of course, with these things, the ARIAs are the same. You have to pay your own way. You get nominated, but the entry ticket's about $385 just to get in. That's flights, accommodation on top of that. So we thought, let's save the money. We won't win. Really just trying to be, real and whatever. So we were sat at home. My kids were outside on the trampoline. We had a cheap bottle of wine and a pizza from down the road, and we friggin' won. And we were screaming, and my kids are going, "What's happening?" I'm like, I just can't speak. We were just in this this fear. It was like my granny flat out the back. It was the most moment that you wanted to just feel amazing, and we did, but we were at home with shitty wine and in my granny flat.
If you'd have gone, you probably wouldn't have won. So
that's what everyone said. So
treat them mean, keep them keen.
We can't make it. We're really busy, not doing much. So it was great. So that's another. That podcast essentially is the same kind of thing about comedy, being seeing the funny side of life. Really, it started off as motherhood, and then it just turned into ripping the piss out of most things, which is good. Otherwise, you need laughter, especially when things are tough. Because even you notice, like many people that work in healthcare will tell you, if I don't laugh, I'll cry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's
I really look, and you and I did a brekkie show and a few other bits and pieces on Refresh, which I absolutely enjoyed that moment. It was a lot of fun, and you did a bit of radio after that, and now you're MC. You do a lot of MC stuff, which I always kind of see you out and about and doing some great things. So yeah, like it's great to see you smashing out, author, and yeah, great to you. Just getting out there and just doing things, you're a breath of fresh air. So, no, thank you.
Oh, that Big Al, I love you to bits for that, mate. And I tell you what, as a few things that I've done since then, nothing tops you and I on Fresh Breakfast.
We're a good
Some of the
duo. We're a
greatest
good
moments
duo.
we were
Yeah.
great. And I'll tell you this, Scotty, because we were meant to start at 6, 6 till 9, the normal
Yeah.
breakfast times. And Big Al would often roll in at 20 to 7. But I'd be there in the studio like this, and I'm thinking, where is he? Has he been run over? Has he slept in? What's happening?
Yeah, that's why we
And
start
then
at 9:30. I think that's pretty safe. Yeah.
PM, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd be there getting all the things, well, the anchor has to set all the things up. I could see Big Al just kind of lightly jog past the studio windows, just smiling. I thought, I can't be
Yeah.
mad. Look how adorable he is.
Yeah, that's right.
But
We don't know. I've just woken up in the forest of the dreams.
That's what I said. He's just woken up.
Yeah.
He's just rolled in here in 2 seconds flat. But it was just any moment that you walked in was just pure happiness for me. And I wonder if, because I often think about this, if I'm ever in a bad mood or having a bit of a spiral, and I found this on my computer the other day when we had our moment where we couldn't go back on air for laughing so much. Do you remember what that was about?
I don't know what it was, but I do remember the
Banned for laughing.
Yeah.
Oh no, we couldn't catch breath to speak again. We just threw a song on. We just went.
That would have been great radio.
And put the song on. We did. We couldn't control ourselves. It was basically that we were early in the morning. Big Al was a little bit late. That was okay. It worked out to be a good marketing point by that. When's he coming in?
Yeah.
So we were talking. You said to me, "Oh, I could have a coffee right now. I love a coffee." And you thought you'd have a cheeky little jab at me about what maybe I would order. You said, "Oh, you'd probably have a nice latte or a chai or something like that, wouldn't you?" That'd sound about right coming from you. And I turned around without even thinking, so stupidly, and I said, "No, nah, that's fine. I just like a normal tea bag."
Yeah.
And then you and I then we had the image. The image doesn't leave.
That's it.
So and we died a slow death on that morning. We just went, "Oh, put the music back on," because we couldn't get a breath in for my stupidity. And I didn't even realise until about 10 seconds into just watching you laugh that I went, "Oh, I said that." Oh, teabag. Oh, I'm in trouble. And then the text line, because all these tradies listen to Fresh were like, so we were just, one of the greatest moments of my career was that. And it was with you, my friend. Wouldn't have it with anyone else.
Well,
I love it when people don't realise they've said something, and I'm like,
that was me. And you were so sharp, probably because you'd had that extra 40 minutes in bed.
Yeah.
That was it. But it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Thank you for joining us, Shanelle, and thank you for being patient, hanging in there.
Any time. It was funny just listening to Ross. And then the cuttlefish. I hope they show up for him. I really hope they do.
I know.
Yeah, he makes such an effort to book a show based around cuttlefish, and the bastards don't show up.
All right.
Dear.
Thank you for joining us, and
thank you for having me.
Come back again sometime.
I'd love to. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Shanelle.
Keep up the good work.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.